and welcome back to our series about how to become a Web3 marketer. In the first two lessons, we went over what sets Web3 marketing apart from Web2 marketing and who the primary audiences in this space are. If you missed it, don't worry, you can head over there to watch it first. Today, we'll head into paid marketing. This gets a little more complex due to a number of platform regulations, but this will give you an overview so you can dive in. Remember to stay tuned and subscribe. There are 3 more videos coming, so make sure that you don't miss them. So, paid marketing. First, of course, we'll talk about when to actually use paid campaigns. Then, the ever-present divide between Web2 and Web3, but it comes with a special weight in this area. Content and narratives, and how this can impact your paid performance. And finally, of course, we'll talk about how to best use different platforms and the policies you need to keep an eye out for to make sure that your ads don't get pulled. And some of you may know this by now, but if you're new here, I'm Carly. I'm a social media and community manager and writer, and you can find me on social media or even better, Discord if you want to ask any questions. We have a dedicated channel, Web3 Marketing 101, and I'll be uploading a new case study of a paid marketing campaign there. So, let's get into it. You probably already know that paid is a powerful tool, but it's definitely not a magic wand, and it definitely can't be your only marketing channel and plan. The first is to boost organic reach, essentially making sure that more eyes than you would normally be able to reach see your content and start learning about your product or service. This usually is the case for new businesses that just launched, young businesses who need more leads or clients, and companies that want to scale quickly. Basically, this is used as a boost for your growth because you already have the infrastructure and narratives but are lacking the reach at your current state. The second case is where paid is usually the right choice, its marketing is extremely crowded. So, say you want to launch a new sneaker brand. That's a pretty crowded market. You've got a lot of competitors. Some are already extremely successful. So I'm not going to lie. Sneakers could be an extremely hard business to get into. But even in a slightly less crowded market, paid marketing can help you to get clients or first users, even before some established competitors. It can also enable very specific targeting, as you can set more parameters on who the ads will target, whereas with organic content, you are more beholden to the mysteries of the algorithm. And Google banner ads can be a major boost to SEO efforts, which is search engine optimization. Think about every time you Google something, the top result or few top results are usually ads, and make sure that your content shows up first for certain keywords. Finally, for the much larger and established businesses, paid campaigns are great to boost brand awareness. They help make sure that your brand is positioned correctly and adequately visible in the market to continue developing and growing according to your strategy. But with all of this, it's important to note that any paid campaign will only work if you have good narratives and established products or services. Essentially, you need to have the groundwork laid for why people should be there and what they'll actually get once they're there. Now that we have this covered, when paid is the right choice, there are a few things that you have to keep in mind specifically for Web3. So what actually changes in Web3? Mostly product market fit. Product market fit is when people are buying, using, and telling others about your product enough to sustain your growth and profitability. But as Web3 is so new, product market fit isn't always established. Let's take a look at what this means. So for Web2 startups, like I said, they need to hit a point where they're able to satisfy the market by selling the same or similar product or services repeatedly. Marketing at this point means that you convert new customers in your target audience on other platforms through organic engagement and paid ads. But not all Web3 products have reached product market fit. Why is this? Well, the space and the things that we are creating are entirely new. So not all projects have entirely defined the product or service yet. And the second thing is, because you may not have a successful pool of competitors that you can use for audience reach, buyer personas may not be clear. This means two key things are really important to understand before you go all in on one campaign. First is you can't run performance marketing. And the second is that paid ads probably won't convert potential leads if what you're selling isn't understood. This gets back to a huge difference that Web3 marketers have to contend with. Education is massive in this space, and a lot of that work falls onto the marketer as the entry point for new people. Think about the first time that you heard about cryptocurrency or blockchain technology, and think about where you are now. There's a huge learning curve that needs to take place, and marketers are smack dab in the middle of that. But with that being said, don't completely write off paid marketing just yet. If you already have great narratives and a good product, you can still use paid to test and learn more about your target audience. You just won't be able to put all of your money into this channel until you have a bit more data and a clearer path to successful conversions. Beyond product market fit, you also have a different ecosystem in Web3. Part of this affects the user journey. And this goes back to what I was just saying about education. So in Web 2, the products are typically very familiar. People more or less know what they are and why they'd use them, and importantly, how to use them. But this isn't always the case for Web 3. In fact, it's rarely the case. So a user journey in Web3 typically starts with something a bit softer, where people can start to learn, like join our hackathon and get into our ecosystem, or learn with us to help learn about how our products work. It can be a little further into the user journey where people get a bit more confident and start to build or create a wallet. You might have noticed that a lot of these examples talk about having the user actually build code or something, and that's because the users are pretty different. A huge part of Web3 is developers, but alongside devs, you also have a much bigger audience of front-end users and, of course, investors. And these investors can range from small-time investors to whales to entire venture capitalists. All of this means that you might need multiple paid campaigns running simultaneously. You might need one for less experienced Web3 recruits and some for those who are more confident in the space. You might need one for new product users and an entirely different campaign for developers. But ultimately, I'm going to say it again, you have to make sure that what you're selling is understood. Without that, you can't expect any conversions. The other thing that is massively different in Web3 is how you handle platforms and design campaigns. Many platforms have very strict rules for crypto and blockchain organizations, and these policies can also change very quickly. This means that campaigns in the space are not just developed with policy in mind, they're developed around the policy. Okay, so main differences here are product market fit, making sure you have a big enough user base and target audience to sustain your business and growth and ecosystem from users and their journey to platform and policies. Now, let's get into some notes on content and narratives or stories for paid marketing. First, your narrative should, of course, be good and compelling. And you should already be working on a search engine optimization strategy to organically raise your ranking on Google and other search engines. But paid marketing can really boost that. However, keep in mind that you'll have to optimize your content for paid, so think user-centric queries and keywords. But also, in Web3, you'll have a lot of banned words in order to run ads. So make sure that your title tags and meta descriptions don't include words like crypto, NFTs, ICO, IDO, or token name, and the list goes on. Also, always make sure to pay attention to user journeys and experience. Keep account structures simple and invest a bit of time and resources into quality content. Chances are it will pay off. Quality content can often look like giving people value, and value can look like education, entertainment, things of that nature. So when you're looking to draw people in, what are the reasons that you would watch content? Usually to become educated in some way or to entertain yourself, so keep that in mind. Content, even going to landing pages, might have to be a bit vague to use with paid campaigns. What I was saying was you can't use certain terms in the title tags and meta descriptions of promoted pages. It also goes for entire landing pages if you're running ads, let's say on Twitter. So you may even need to have a landing page that is specifically used for paid campaigns, just so that your ads aren't taken down. While it complicates the user journey, you may need this more vague page to drive leads to a more specific landing page. And yes, that extra step will probably cost you some conversions, but without it, your ads will either be taken down or what you're selling won't be understood. Finally, the golden rule of content is consistency. Narratives take time to stick, so find your narratives and run with it, and keep pushing out content with regular cadence. This also means that you will want to move away from short-term metrics. These can be good to optimize campaigns, but it's also important to look at the impressions, not just how many users they generate. That's because often people will have to see the same or similar ads several times before they actually click on a link. And then they may need to see even another time or two to fill out any forms or make a purchase. So finally, let's dive into what each channel is best for when using paid. The first thing you want to pay attention to is how to target people. This will have a massive effect on how you design your campaigns and how effective they are. So first, as a text-based platform, Twitter collects information on keyboards. They also look at who people follow. Targeting based on certain key opinion leaders, followers can be extremely useful. Twitter is good as a central hub of Web3 communication. While that's being shaken up a little bit, it will take a while to change. It's also great for carving out more specialized audiences like VC, developers, or decentralized finance audiences. However, while Twitter is a great channel for Web3, it doesn't always yield the highest conversions. So sometimes you'll have to look at different channels. Of course, in social media, you have your meta empire, which is Facebook and Instagram, and they're great for interest-based targeting. These can be great for gaming and finance, and while not the best channel for crypto, you can find some here. And you also have LinkedIn. LinkedIn is notorious for being one of the most expensive channels for paid marketing, but there's still a good reason to use it. And that's because LinkedIn is the only channel that effectively collects job-related data. This is good for targeting, of course, based on jobs to reach developers and traditional finance audiences, and can be used for some venture capitalists, although not all. Finally, you have Reddit. Reddit can be a bit harder to navigate, but it's a very good niche-based interest targeting platform. That's because you set your ads based on the subreddits that people follow. But of course, these are not the only channels. You can also pay for Google search ads or look for crypto native sites to add banner ads. And the crypto native sites will generally help you get around the hurdle of paid marketing policies. This is a massive change in Web3. Keep in mind that policies actually change fairly frequently, so please make sure to review them before designing and pushing out paid campaigns. And another thing to keep in mind is that for many platforms, you can actually get a free account manager. They'll help you to review your content, including landing pages, to make sure it's compliant. This is the best way to make sure your campaign will go uninterrupted, but it can also take a bit of time, so try to pad the runtime to your campaign for these checks. So to recap, use paid marketing wisely. It shouldn't be your only marketing campaign. It's not a good fit for every situation. Rather, it should be used to amplify and reach certain target audiences, but make sure your content is already strong. Web2 and Web3 are different, but this is especially true for paid channels. First, because of the strict policies, keep those in mind, but also because of how young the space is. So you might be working with the rest of your team to actually reach product market fit, and of course you have to keep in mind that the ecosystem is different. The users are a bit different, and given how much people typically need to learn in order to convert and start using Web3 products, the user journey is radically different. And finally, this goes for really any type of paid marketing, whether Web2 or Web3, but keep targeting in mind. When choosing channels and setting up campaigns, think about the type of data the platform collects about the users. This will definitely increase how effective they are. Alright, that brings us to the end of another lesson. Just 3 more to go. But don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications because the next one is really important in Web3, community. This time we'll be focused on how you can actually build and grow your community. And of course, if you have more questions or just want to see what other people are saying, make sure to head over to our Discord. There's a lot on there, including a paid marketing campaign case study in the Web3 Marketing 101 channel. And check the event section to see when we'll be holding our office hours. All right, I'll see you next week.